Well, welcome to a special edition of Beyond Belief. Special because this individual is probably one of the world's foremost thinkers of life. It's none other than our dear friend David Wilcock. David, welcome.
Hey, George, how are you, buddy?
I always like doing these shows with you.
Well, you say that. I don't know if I trust you, though.
Nah, you don't trust me?
Well, we're kind of in competition because we both have competing shows on the same network.
Yeah, but we're on the same network.
That's true. So it's all really kind of a team effort.
And I will, agree that you're doing very well on this network. And so that doesn't bother me.
Cool. I'm happy to be here. You're one of the best, probably the best interviewer on the planet, in my opinion. And I end up saying things when you talk to me that just wouldn't happen any other way. I think
we pull it out of you, don't we?
The legacy of shows that you and I have done on Coast are the best radio shows I've ever done. There's no question about that.
We still get people calling about this, and it grows.
It's an exciting time to be on the planet. And what you bring is this presence of such consistency over so many years of holding this legacy that really is the crown jewel of the UFO community. Bringing all those talents together, all those people together, and I don't know how the heck you do it, George, night after night. Not only do you have this show, but you're also on the air, working all the time.
Have to do it, David.
I mean,
we have to get the answer out, And people have been, for years, involved in this area that we all love so dearly, and that's disclosure. That's to try to get the word out, and you've investigated that with people like Corey Goode and your own work. Where are we today with disclosure? Are we getting closer?
There's a lot of interesting things going on, George. You had the guy who was the lead singer from Blink-182, Tom DeLonge, on your show, and it was actually on your show that he leaked some very provocative stuff, saying that he was in contact with multiple insiders from high levels of the Pentagon, and that they were saying that they wanted to move forward with disclosure. And you were there interviewing him. I mean, why don't you, since we can both kind of co-host and co-talk, tell me some of the things, because this will help set up what I'm going to say. What were some of the things that Tom DeLonge was saying on your show?
Well, he's convinced, and of course, from one of the greatest rock groups out there, at that time.
Yeah.
He is convinced that the people that have come to him were real. I think that's important. That's a very important barometer. You have to be able to ascertain whether these people are trying to trick you or not. And he thinks that they were very real, that we've been visited since the beginning of time, that we have craft, that we have reverse technology. But I think one of the most telltale things that he's been able to say is that there seems to be some unwritten agreement between our government and extraterrestrials for some shared knowledge, and maybe even shared people. I'm convinced that the abduction phenomenon is real. We know about it, and we can't stop it. And to me, it's kidnapping.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that when you had Corey on your show and we talked about the intergalactic slave trade that's going on here. That's one of the most disturbing aspects of disclosure that we're going to have to deal with as this all starts to come out.
It's not all benevolent, is it?
No. And George, you and I are essentially frontiersmen. We're out there in the Wild West with our 6 guns at our side where there's no law and order. We're trying to make sense out of this whole thing. We're in new territory.
I'm Wyatt Earp. You're Doc Holliday.
I'm Doc Holliday. This is going to happen, George. It's going to break out. The Tom DeLonge thing shocked me because it reveals a trend line in which the people that are speaking to Tom DeLonge are saying, we're ready to go. We want you to help us get the public acclimated to the truth.
Is something holding them back from going and telling us?
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting, and you're waiting.
I think they're terrified because, and this is one of the reasons why I think they've put some big chips on the table behind Tom DeLonge's position. If you want to look at it as gambling, they're gambling on him. They got a big pile of chips in the poker game right there. Why? Because he's trying to say, hey, look, everybody, they didn't mean to do anything wrong. They kept this a secret because they were worried about the collapse of society. if we learned it too quickly, some of the things that were going on, like abduction, are so disturbing that people are not going to want to hear this truth. They're not going to want to have the truth because the truth is very uncomfortable. It's possible that disclosure will involve a mass trauma in which many people who have, up until now, had a great deal of ignorance about this issue are suddenly discovering that the entirety of their experience as a human being has been a lie. And it's a nest of lies within lies within lies. It's just unbelievable.
You had told us on Coast to Coast a couple of years ago, and you were convinced that President Barack Obama was going to be flanked by a couple ETs and was going to come forward and tell all. It hasn't happened yet. Why not? And do you still believe it?
Well, here's what happened. That occurred in July 2009 while we were interviewing an insider named Pete Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
And he had contacts with 3 different people who were at the very bleedingly highest level of mainstream network news and network television. I'm not going to say who they are or what networks they were from.
Real people.
I could probably get them killed if I do.
Yeah.
Okay? But we had a lot of off-camera discussion about this. Every major cable channel had a specific period of time that was booked out, and I believe, if I remember correctly, the date was November 27th, 2009. There was going to be, supposedly, there was going to be an announcement that involved 5 different extraterrestrial groups, most of which look like us, look human or at least humanoid, and there are others that are not.
Mm-hmm.
And they were apparently going to step forward and reveal themselves to humanity with Obama. The other thing that we really haven't covered that much, I've mentioned it a little bit, was not only were there 5 black ops groups that closed in on this once they found out about it and made absolutely sure that it wasn't going to happen.
So they did not want this disclosure at all?
No. There's a lot of groups that stand to lose tremendously from this because as soon as we, and I'll get back to the other story, but we'll go off onto this for a second.
Yeah.
As soon as we reveal that, where's my anti-gravity machine? Where's my land speeder?
Where's my free electricity?
Where's my free energy?
Yeah.
Where's my teleportation?
Where's my longevity in life?
Yeah,
right?
Because no disease is actually necessary. No disease needs to be suffered by anyone. The technology already exists. We don't need to have a Pacific garbage patch. We could get rid of all the stuff that's causing problems for the Earth. California could become a business state in which its largest business that it exports is water.
Yep.
Because we already have technology that can desalinate ocean water, create free energy in the process,
mm-hmm.
and the byproduct will generate any element on the periodic table that you want.
And you just pipe it away.
This was discovered by MIT scientists, and it is ready to go. We could have huge water desalination turbines that power the entire American power grid and
it makes
export.
Sense. It makes sense.
So, look, why don't they want us to know this stuff? There are certain groups whose goal is what they call depopulation.
Depopulation, control, and money. I've always said, David, follow the money, and you'll get your answer.
I mean, it actually makes me pissed off. I have a heart rate increase, and I feel this.
Well, don't get yourself sick.
George.
That would make me then the highest rated show on the Gaia television network, though.
If I actually lose it, right, on your show. It's unconscionable that guys like you and me are considered fringe. What could possibly be more interesting than the stuff that you and I are talking about?
And realistic.
What's more relevant to everybody's daily life than this idea that there are already beings here who are so advanced that they have been able to largely conceal their identities from us, only leaving us a trail of breadcrumbs so that if you want to find out, you can. But if you don't want the truth, you can conveniently stay an ostrich.
You know, we don't see cases like we used to. You know, Lonnie Zamora, the dead New Mexico police officer, now he's passed on, who saw a craft and a couple beings outside. We used to get cases of burned out areas, indentations where tripods would land. Why don't we get that anymore?
It's important to understand, George, that there is a cosmic free will principle that these extraterrestrials have to follow. And we've heard this from ancient religious texts. We've heard this from modern revealed teachings like the Law of One. We've also had things happening like beings contacting Corey Goode directly, supposedly, and I believe it's true, and telling him this. These ETs are essentially either going to fall into one of two categories, primarily. There's some that are neutral, but not very many. They're either extremely benevolent, and they would be the equivalent of angels in the Bible, or they are highly, highly, highly evil.
As David Jacobs would say.
Yes. And the most evil of them are the ones who are essentially looking like what we would think the devil is. You got reptilian skin, you got vertical slit pupils, they're very large, they could be 12 feet tall. They apparently in some cases actually do eat human beings.
Oh, great.
Which is not something we want. And they are living off of the fear of humanity.
Could there be a combination of both, the benevolent and the evil?
Well, what I'm saying is we're being visited by both. Both of them are involved in our lives. Both of them are contacting people on Earth. They have to start, there's certain laws in the universe where they have to begin telepathically, but then they can transition into an in-person contact. So everybody, I would recommend, if you haven't already seen it, go watch the Cosmic Disclosure episode where we bring in William Tompkins.
On the Gaia TV network.
Yeah, 94-year-old guy who was there in World War II as a high-ranking Navy debriefer of 29 embedded spies who were in the German secret space program at the time. And what he revealed was that telepathic contact with reptilian ETs was established through various German secret society groups like the Thule Society, the Vril Society, and it led to an in-person physical contact in which these reptilians, or what they call the Draco, actually formed an alliance with the Nazis to conquer not just the Earth, but other worlds. Now, these beings, these negative beings, actually require fear as a food supply. It's an energetic nutrition that they get off of causing as much war and pain and chaos on Earth as possible.
Well, they're doing a good job doing it.
This planet has become an oasis for them. They are essentially living off of our collective dis-ease and our ignorance.
Does this knowledge that you possess, does it scare you?
You have to realize this, George, is so important. The negative can only do what it is authorized to do by our own free will. Authorization is key. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. So they have to tell us what they're doing. They have to hide it out in the open. One movie after another after another. Go, if you haven't already seen it, it was really pumped up by the media, this big film, Batman versus Superman.
I haven't seen that.
Nobody did, because the people who did were so disturbed, George. The whole movie, from the beginning, blatantly in your face, like they take the glove off and they slap you across the face, Superman is Lucifer. Superman is the fallen angel.
Wow. Why would they do that?
Because that's their religion. Because
to destroy an icon.
People don't like the truth, okay? It's uncomfortable, it's unpleasant, and so it's much easier to attack guys like you and me. That feels better. That's how you can suck your thumb and get into a fetal position at night and, oh, there's no evil in the world, you know, come on.
Heck, I remember when I first came into Coast to Coast, David, after having 9 years experience as a Navy officer, people would accuse me of being a disinformation officer.
I know.
And I laughed about it. It's ridiculous. But they really thought that I was planted into the show to create disinformation.
Everybody in our field is accused of being on the take, or that we're only doing this for money, or that we're only doing this because we want to be famous. But the money is not there, the fame is not there. We're doing good enough that we can live in Los Angeles. You and I can live in Los Angeles. But it's not like we're rich. You're not pulling up in a Rolls Royce here.
No.
I mean, it's ridiculous. The accusations we hear. The point is, George.
However, would you get my car after this interview is done, please?
I'll let the butler do that. I can't stop people from being terrified of the truth. I can't stop that, but what I can do is I can inform you about the truth so that it's less scary once you get the big picture. So yes, let's get right down to it, which is that there is a very powerful super entity of corporations that are controlled by a central group that is ultimately a Luciferian religious cult.
We all know their names. We don't mention them for fear of lawsuits because it's difficult to prove, but they're out there. They're the very rich and famous.
They honestly believe that Lucifer is the misunderstood benevolent hero, that that's actually God, and that the God that cast Lucifer out of heaven is the bad guy.
Is the bad guy.
Because Lucifer, pointed the whistle, blew the finger.
So they're
I can't even talk right now.
They're satanic, aren't they? You're laughing.
Because I meant to say blow the whistle, point the finger, but I kind of got a spoonerism. Like when you say shake a tower instead of take a shower. It's my mind is off in other dimensions, George. I'm multiplexed out throughout.
Well, you're under a lot of stress and pressure.
This stuff does upset me. It's upsetting to talk about this because they're real. They're as serious as a heart attack. And if it wasn't for these universal laws, they would have taken me out.
I think they would have.
They've tried and tried and tried. I have been given death threats directly from the Rothschilds 3 different times. They have actually had somebody that they could talk to.
Straw parties.
It's from them, through this person, to me, 3 times. Direct death threats from the Rothschilds. Shut up or we're going to take you out. And I'm still doing it.
You're still doing it.
Because what they really try to do is they try to lure you in with a honey trap that gets you to authorize your own death. That's how it works.
But you need to be careful, and let me tell you why. We are being plagued with naturopathic doctors being murdered. That's happening all around the country, all around the planet these days. We have had biochemists killed. Stephen Quayle and I have talked about that for years. They're getting to these people who are those that would be able to fight back with their knowledge of alternative medicine and things like that. And we've been having these things happen, David, since the beginning of time. Strange deaths occurring around some people who wanted to go public about some things in the presidential campaigns.
Sure.
They've died. A person who they claim committed suicide, obviously they said got killed on his left side, but he's right-handed. So, I mean, who does that?
And nobody took his wallet or his keys or anything.
Nothing. Nothing.
Just leave him there.
And they claimed it was a robbery. They robbed him of nothing. So in your case, you need to be careful.
It's not going to stop me. You
can't.
I'm going to quote Abraham Lincoln.
Win.
I think I did this on your show before, but it's worth saying it again. I'd rather die once at the hand of an assassin than die every day in fear of assassination.
If you could get one thing disclosed right now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, what topic, what specific area would that be?
Well, let me give a thoughtful instead of a sarcastic answer, because we could joke around all day.
We've known each other too much.
Yeah, I know. We've had parties at some of these things, and wild things have taken place.
Well, I left before the wild things took place.
Well, but you had a few drinks in you, though, and that if you hadn't left, it could have gotten bad. We had some very interesting and amazing women showing up, and let's just leave it there.
So you can reveal one thing, not about this, but you reveal one thing that you've been working on all your life. What would it be? If
Honestly,
you could get that answer.
I would want the world to know about ascension. I would want the world to know that we are very, very close. And all the people on the inside know this. This is the key of disclosure. We are very close to some sort of energetic shift that the sun is going to do. Our new insider, William Tompkins, knows all about it. Pete Peterson knows all about it. Every insider at the highest levels.
Are they concerned?
It depends on who you're talking to and where they are. But what everybody agrees on is that this is a massive consciousness shift. And therefore, if you look at the amount of validation that we see in the major world religions, including the Islamic Bible, the Quran, The Bible, obviously, it's all over the place in there. The Torah. The Jewish Bible, the Torah, you betcha. I mean, it's in Buddhism, it's in Hinduism, it's everywhere. And yet, how can we be so ignorant about this? If there is some sort of natural event that's going to take place that takes our certainty of being a spiritual being and makes it absolutely certain, where there's no veil left, where we are wide open to reality and our greater spiritual identity, I would want more people to know about that so they can prepare for it.
Of course.
Because these religious texts were intended to give you thousands of years of lead time to prepare for it. And what we're hearing is that our own military-industrial complex has very powerful ships now that can defeat the reptilians, 100%. And they're already doing it. We've created that here. And this is from several insiders now, the highest level stuff that I can give you. The Draco, the reptilians, have created these technologies, including these gigantic tankers. We're talking 2.5-mile long ships hovering in low Earth orbit, cloaked so you can't see them, but if you could, they'd be right there and they'd be gigantic, covering the sky.
What's in them?
Mind control technology that is preventing us from having this spiritual shift already. Our government, our military, it's not really the government, okay, but our military industrial complex.
Let's call it the cabal.
The cabal, or, well, they're not all bad. Some of these guys, they now have the ability to shoot those tankers down. The problem they're having, George, is that it's not like a fader dial where you can kind of fade out the mind control.
Right.
It's either on or it's off, and they know this. So they haven't shot the tankers down yet, because when they do, everybody kind of goes into a psychedelic trip.
Will they?
It's unavoidable. There have already been multiple experiments, I've heard this from several insiders, that have been done in which they take ordinary folks and they put them into a room and they zap them with the energy that our sun is going to give off when we go through this change.
Yeah.
And the spiritual people become very blissed out. They start to get really telepathic. They can move things with their mind.
But the others?
People that are negative, materialistic, selfish, fearful, you start to create whatever you think.
Yeah.
So you're manifesting your own reality in real time. And if you go into a panic, if you go into paranoia, you're going to start having terrifying hallucinations. You're going to actually see things, and the more that you fear them, the more they're going to appear. So our government, I'll say that, our government knows that this is going to happen if they take these tankers down, and they're very, very concerned about it because people will freak out.
It's like Independence Day.
Yeah, very much so. But on the other hand, you're going to have all these people that are having positive experiences, and this is human evolution. It's inevitable. So if they could tell us the truth, and if they could say to us, okay, this ascension thing is going to happen, there is a consciousness shift that's going to happen, we are going to take down a control system that has stopped you from having this consciousness shift. And we're going to let you know that we're going to do it, and everybody has like a week to prepare, let's say, right? And people are going to be freaking out, but the point is, get ready, because once we do this, you're going to have some new experiences, some new consciousness, some new abilities, but we don't want to just do it all at once. We want to tell you that it's going to happen so that you can be in position and understand what's going to happen to you as this takes place. It is going to be bizarre, but once you've acclimated to it, you're going to have wonderful new abilities, you're going to be more psychic. That's really what they should be telling us. In my view, that's the number one thing.
Are you talking like the Book of Revelation? Because it sounds very similar to that.
Nobody knows, George, exactly what this thing is or how this thing is going to happen. And anybody who says that they do is lying. And that would include me. I am only presenting models, hypotheses, theoretical scenarios of what may take place. But one of the things that we absolutely know from the insiders is that these reptilian folks have held us back from what would already naturally have been happening over the course of thousands of years, that would make us able to have telekinesis, that would make things like the Force that we see in Star Wars an everyday reality.
They don't want us to have that.
They are terrified because if even one person starts to really develop these so-called Jedi abilities, it's over for them.
It's over for them. David Icke has long said that there are reptilians in government right now. He names certain people and families, and he's convinced that that's going on. Are you?
I actually had a feud with David Icke many years ago. This was in the late 1990s, where we kind of had a public debate. It wasn't really that we went head-to-head on camera or on a radio show. But what he ultimately did was he adapted my position. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize that. The reptilian influence that some seers and psychics have seen is a telepathic overlay, where they're looking at a person's face and they see, psychically, they see a reptilian face on that face. This does not mean that they are physically shape-shifting. So this is where David Icke's early platform from the mid-90s on into some of the late 1990s has now become its own thing. It's a meme. I don't believe in shape-shifting biological life forms. It doesn't work that way. Biological life is a constant throughout the universe. Whatever your DNA is, whatever your biological structure is, that's what you've got.
Yeah.
So it's misleading to think that people in government would actually transform into other types of life. It doesn't happen. But what does happen is that, and this is now many, many people.
Is there a lineage?
There are many, many reptilians in our solar system. There's probably as many of them, according to some insiders, there's as many of them as there are people on Earth.
Wow.
It's a massive population. So what does that mean? That means that according to the laws of the universe, when someone starts to go in a negative direction, when they start to have negative thoughts, when they start to behave in a way that is self-serving, it's universal law that a reptilian or other similar type of negative being can step in and actually start to nudge you like a puppet master and get you to say certain things or get you to do certain things or strengthen you in one direction.
Do they control politicians?
It absolutely appears that they do. As weird as that sounds,
just what we need.
There's a learning curve on all this stuff. And it's just like trying to learn Adobe software, right? Nobody likes to learn Adobe software. It's crazy. You go through these tutorials, whether it's Photoshop or whatever the software is. There's a learning curve on reality. And we have to just start people on that path so that this doesn't all hit them at once.
Are you finding, David, that people nowadays are more open to learning about these things?
We got 4 generations of disclosure. We have 4 generations now of deliberately planted, government-sponsored disclosure to get us ready for the truth. So yes, we are far more ready than we were before. And when the truth hits, it is not going to be anywhere near as jarring as it would have been, say, in the 1940s.
I was going to say, are we ready for the truth? Can we handle the truth?
It's still going to be a very difficult adjustment. And shows like what you and I are doing right now, this kind of material that we're doing right now, this is going to be the stuff that everybody goes back to. Just like once Snowden spoke, all the people that have been saying what he said before, now they become a lot more interesting.
Right.
So yes, people will be able to go back.
And credible.
People will be able to go back and see, yes, that was credible, like you just said. Yes, they were talking about this. I didn't pay attention. But it was there.
Right under our noses.
And then the people who have been paying attention, the people watching this program, hearing from all of these amazing guests and insiders that you bring onto this show, that's part of why we're here. I've voted to call Gaia the Disclosure Network, okay? Because we're doing disclosure. It's happening week after week. We're on the front lines bringing out the people who are giving us the truth. And that's how this war is going to be won. It's going to be won by the people who watch this show and other shows like this and who are educated on the truth, being able to intervene so that literally they can get somebody out of bed who doesn't want to get out of bed because they're so overwhelmed by what they've heard. We'll get them to take a shower, to get dressed, to eat something, to go to the bathroom, to do simple things, because the truth is going to hurt real bad when it comes out.
What's amazing, though, is we've been able to continue to get whistleblowers and people to come public with these kinds of information.
I know. And they're out there, and they are increasingly disgruntled by the lies that they see going on. They know the truth. They've worked in the truth. And it's awe-inspiring that such incredible amounts of information can be kept from us. That violates people's sense of basic intellectual stability. They don't feel stable when they realize how much they've been lied to.
Right.
It actually has this very traumatizing effect to realize the scope of the lie. Because it goes back to a quote from Hitler where he says, "We tell little lies and we let people figure it out because they can believe that. But what we also do is we tell a lie that is so big that nobody could believe it because they could not live their lives."
And that's what's happening.
In that much of a lie, yes. These people can handle telling that big of a lie. They actually can go to bed at night, kiss their kids, and then get them up in the morning and get them ready for school. They can live that family domestic life knowing that they are part of a group that wants to kill billions of people and that is hiding technology from us that could literally save the planet and everyone on it.
David, through our radio show and through our Gaia shows, we are dealing with millions of people.
That's absolutely true.
Millions of people. What one major thing would you like them to take away from anything they've heard us talk about over the years?
We are in a spiritual reality. The world is a cosmic classroom, and its purpose is to teach us to love one another. If you can absorb that basic lesson and begin applying it to every aspect of your life, you are now authorizing the positive aspect of this spiritual drama that we're talking about to work for you. That includes very real, very powerful, benevolent, extraterrestrial or angelic beings.
Yes.
That will start to give you synchronicity, that will start to create financial abundance, spontaneous prosperity, that will start to find you the love that you want, the people that you need in your life to be happier. If you create that seed, you plant the seed and the universe will flower it out into a much greater gift, a bounty of joy and happiness and peace. But the trick is, you don't get to control people, you don't get to be manipulative. We are in a glass ceiling. Everything that we do can be seen by the bad guys and the good guys. The bad guys love it. Because if you think that hovering over your computer and that you're off on some little corner of the internet, well, not only can the NSA watch what you're doing on your computer as you're doing it, and they know everywhere you've been, so you can't go to some dark site.
Yeah. You can't hide.
It's the internet is one mirror of that, and the loss of privacy of the NSA with the cameras in your phones and everything. But there's a deeper level too, and that deeper level is that the spiritual community sees everything in your mind, every thought that you have, they know.
Right.
So then it becomes very clear, like, why wouldn't you want to be a loving person? Is it so hard to be kind? Is it so hard to want to help people out, to try to have loving thoughts about them, even when they're acting in a way that's very manipulative and negative? So when somebody does that stuff, when somebody's acting negatively towards you, the key is not to return it with negativity, but to have healthy boundaries, to say no, to not allow yourself to be walked on, but to do it with a respectful, loving consciousness.
Sounds like Gandhi.
Gandhi was able to overthrow the British Empire out of one of the largest countries in the world. There's over 1 billion people in India now, and if it hadn't have been for what he did, the cabal would totally dominate India.
And they got him, though, eventually.
Well, they did, but India is now one of the key countries in this alliance that is bringing the cabal down. And the cabal does not control the Indian government at all.
Does David Wilcock believe in God?
Well, that question has all kinds of overtones, which we have to get specific now, okay? I believe in God insofar as I believe in a universal intelligence that created the universe, that is the cosmic consciousness that we all share.
Right.
If somebody were to ask me, do you believe in God, and they're coming at me as a fundamentalist Christian, then my answer to that question implies that I have a tacit agreement with all of their dogma. I do not believe that there is only one Son of God. I do not believe that salvation only occurs through one particular religion. But I do believe that there is a God, and I do believe that religions are excellent tools to help people become more spiritually evolved if you can use that tool without denouncing others. Can you have a particular faith? Can you have a faith in Christ or a faith in Buddha, whatever, without saying that everybody who doesn't believe the way that you do is condemned?
You remember the movie Contact?
Absolutely.
Where Jody was with the ET, who looked like her father, did that so she wouldn't panic and freak. But they were all looking, he said, for the same thing. We were all looking in the universe for that godlike figure. And that's their quest. They're continuing to look for life out here, but they wanted to find God. And I think every extraterrestrial being is probably asking themselves the same question. How did we get here? What are we doing here? And they don't have those answers yet. Will we ever get those answers?
I think some of those answers are accessible. It does appear that benevolent ETs at a high enough level are able to access the consciousness of the Earth, the consciousness of the Sun, the consciousness of the galaxy, as if they were dialing into an internet. They know what the agenda is to some degree. We also hear from extraterrestrials and the most credible sources that the ultimate nature of the universe is what they call intelligent infinity, and that it's unfathomable to us. There is mystery implicit in the design of the universe. So we may be aware that we're all ultimately one, that we're from one singularity of consciousness, and that singularity gave rise to space and time and the observable universe, but that it's not really there, it's all an illusion, and the only thing that really exists is the awareness. You can know that, but apparently to become that awareness is to hit what the Tibetans call rainbow body, at which point your physical body dissolves, you've solved the mystery, and you return back to that cosmic consciousness. So unless you've actually ascended that far and hit the full rainbow body, which is not what these ETs have done, then you're still confused and you're still living in the mystery, in the illusion.
Are we being visited by ETs from other universes? It
does appear that the answer is yes. It does appear that some of the negative ETs are being controlled by an AI, and that the artificial intelligence, or AI, does have an existence in what you could think of as a separate universe or a parallel universe. It does appear that there are certainly multi-dimensional levels of reality, that there could be a partition of reality in which the atomic vibrational state, for lack of a better term, is out of phase with us. So there could be beings right here on our set that are actually standing right here watching us. We're not going to be able to see them. We might notice something.
Saying,
some sensitives might.
Wilcock said that again?
I'm trying to be good. They've asked me to not be so crude in some of the things that I used to say. I'd make dick jokes on stage. I've tried to veer away from that. But apparently I'm not that successful, so I just did it again. They are around. We are definitely being visited, and those parallel universes, those parallel dimensions, they're right here. They're interpenetrated with our own reality completely.
Will we get the answers that we all seek?
I wouldn't be doing this if I thought we were going to stay ignorant for another 100 years. I believe that, and I get dreams about this all the time. I had another one this morning, very intense. The things that you and I are talking about, the things that we are doing, this is going to become the mainstream. People are going to be a lot more interested in that than they are in celebrities who are getting drunk and having sex and stumbling around at the Oscars. It's going to be a very different type of reality, because all of a sudden, the people who have been risking their lives to bring forward the truth will be seen and lauded on a public level as the heroes that they truly are.
I believe that. David, thanks for doing what you do.
Thank you, George.
And paying this little visit to us. I appreciate it.
It was good to stop by here today, and I'm glad you got things a little cleaned up for me. It was.
They work quickly here.
Well, it looks good on this show at least.
Until next time.
Thanks, buddy.
That's why I call him one of the world's greatest thinkers. You just heard him. I'm George Noory, and this is Beyond Belief.